Because the way I figure it, I got nothing to lose. You got one way out of this. Just one.
What do you want?
I want out. And you're going to arrange it.
Only 24 hours to go, eh?
Yeah, then it's goodbye to Mrs. O'Regan's cottage pie.
Geez, who's going to look after the next fashion parade?
Oh.
Oh, I didn't mean that the way it sounded. I hope it goes really well tomorrow, Lee.
Oh, thanks. As far as the fashion parades are concerned, I think you're just about ready to fill my shoes.
Oh, I'm not that good in high heels.
Oh, don't we know it?
Something bugging you?
No.
Well, are we bugging you?
You care more about Rachel and Lee than you do about me. You know Murray must have pushed her, and you and Murray won't even back me up.
Now, that's not true. We can't do the impossible. She has an alibi.
Yeah, and I got no alibi and no mates either.
Okay. You might not think that we care about you, honey, but I got a letter here that shows that we really do care. Well, some of us... I'm going to read you this letter anyway. Dear Judy, I can't really enjoy being free yet because I miss you all so much. My first night on the outside was terrible. I cried all night wondering about Bobby and her baby. How is Bobby? I went to the hospital where they're keeping Cass. They wouldn't let me see her. Well, I spoke to the doctor and there's good news. She's going to be all right. Oh, right. Please look after one another. All my love, Pixie.
She really is something, isn't she?
She sure is. There's a P.S. I still have my job at the bridal boutique. I'm having a wonderful time there, especially since I found out Mr. Schumann has a nephew. And guess what? She says he's not married.
Will she ever learn?
I don't think so. But she sure taught us one thing. Please look after each other.
There you are. I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Yes. Changing my shirt, in fact.
Dennis just saved a man's life from a car crash. He nearly got killed.
Really? I've heard worse excuses for being late.
Ring the Edith Vale police if you don't believe me.
Let it go, Heather. It's not worth it.
But you were a hero. Some people just wouldn't appreciate that.
Be very careful who I spoke to in that tone of voice, Rogers. The fact remains that both of you are late. Therefore, the buy-up that you should have distributed this afternoon will have to wait until after dinner.
Yes, Miss Ferguson.
Then hurry it up. There are other officers doing your jobs.
Oh, boy.
Oh, take it easy.
I'd really like to tell her what I think of her.
Well, not today, Charlie. Did you notice the ministerial car that pulled up outside? Odds are we'll have a new governor by stumps. Worse luck.
Oh, Mrs. M, what can I do for you?
I just had a call from Kay. No, don't worry. Just want to know if you got that letter she sent you. She sounded very chirpy. Said she's keeping an eye on Alan, and he seems to be helping her, too. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
And she wanted me to tell you again how much she loves you for what you did. She knows what it cost you.
Yeah, she doesn't know what it cost the others, though, does she? Cass's breakdown, Bobby losing the baby. Maybe, if I'd been here.
Well, off the record, and knowing all that, I think I would have done exactly the same if it had been Marty instead of Kay.
Mrs. Reynolds got the bullet because of what happened while I was away, didn't she?
I think you'll all regret that if Joan does take over. I, for one, will certainly not be staying, and neither will many of the other officers either.
We'll be very sorry if you do go, Mrs. M. But that's not going to stop Joan Ferguson. She'll bring in the Gestapo if she has to. Can't blame you if you do leave.
Well, do have my integrity to protect. And you did save Kay's life.
We got to serve in 15 minutes. Get a move on.
The meat isn't ready yet.
I don't care if it's raw. Get it on the bench and start carving.
Well, if you don't get a move on, we may as well serve the meat with a flaming dessert. Me veggies are all getting cold.
It is hot, you know.
Well, it's just a question of knowing what you're doing. I could have had it all done by now, even with me 2 feet in the grave.
Be my guest.
Well, Typical young ones today. Wouldn't work in an iron lung.
You're supposed to be doing the spuds.
We swap jobs.
Well, I didn't tell you to swap.
Can't do everything all at once, can I?
Oh!
I'm really sorry about carrying on like a chook with its head cut off today. Must have been really thick to think you'd really do yourself in.
You know, I reckon we got to be mates, sorta. So if I tell you something, will you promise to keep it to yourself?
Oh, look, I got a really big mouth, but I can keep a secret, you know.
Well, you were right.
What about?
I was going to do it.
You're having me on.
I faked the headache just to get into the infirmary. Couldn't even pinch the right bloody pills, could I? Vitamins. It's my luck to stuff everything up.
You don't still feel like doing it, do you?
Don't feel anything now. I won't try it again.
Look, Bobby, where there's life, there's hope, all that stuff. And you might talk to VJ into letting your parole go through.
What good will that do me? Nothing for me in here. Nothing for me outside.
You might get yourself a really good job.
900,000 unemployed. I read it. You know where the ex-crims are? End of the line. I've got no baby, no bloke. The only thing I've got to sell is me body. The only place I can call home is a cell in this stinking prison.
Look, you ought to have a good talk with Judy and Myra. They think the world of you, you know.
Oh, yeah, sure. They're always on me back about something. I'm not going to tell them. Neither are you. Keep your mouth shut.
The department can't always act as it would like to, Anne. The acting minister has to take public opinion into account, too. And it seems it pays to have influential friends close to the powers that be.
Yes, I imagine it does. You asked to see me, Governor? Miss Ferguson, this is the Minister's Secretary, Mr. Watkins.
I'm pleased to meet you, Miss Ferguson.
You do?
This concerns the post of governor at this prison. Your application was most favourably received, I might say.
Well, thank you, Mr. Watkins.
However, Mrs. Reynolds' heroism during the recent prison riot and the subsequent favourable press coverage have caused us to reconsider and reinstate Mrs. Reynolds as governor with the full endorsement of the department.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside the roses grow, they don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too when morning comes around.